News Update.
Good afternoon and thanks for tuning in to NBC News Daily. I'm Maya Holloway with your Midday Ark-La-Miss update. Starting off, Southern University hosted a special event highlighting Congressman Cleo Fields' return to Capitol Hill. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries made the trip to Louisiana to honor him. In a speech, Jeffries highlighted challenges in Washington and how the hundreds of students watching the ceremony can have hope that things will improve for them. He also talked about it being Black History Month and that the road that was taken to get here will not be allowed to be erased.
28 years ago, I had to face yet another challenge, the challenge of having a district taken away from the very constituents that I served. Yet today, I proudly stand before you, reclaiming my time.
Fields said in his speech he stands on the backs of Black men who were elected before him and fought for civil rights. He aims to focus on education and to find ways to serve his community. Fields officially took office in January. And in some local news, President Donald Trump has announced that he wants to get rid of the penny. NBC 10's Joel Massey spoke to some local consumers, got their thoughts on the topic.
West Monroe resident Colton Manchester says he sees the benefit of getting rid of the penny since it costs more to make than its face value.
To me, it makes sense. You know, if it costs more to produce something, why would we produce it if it's not worth what we put into it? But at the same time, we'll have to round everything up because our next smallest coin is a nickel. The businesses aren't going to lose money by rounding down. They're going to round up to the nearest nickel. Everything's going to go up, and it's just going to hurt us for a little while. But in the long run, I feel like it'll help us.
West Monroe resident Brad Heiser also sees the value in getting rid of the penny.
I think it's a good thing when the cost of producing your currency exceeds its actual value. I think we have a big problem, and I think pennies have kind of, if I'm being honest, become a little bit of a nuisance in your pocket. We tend to collect them and throw them in a drawer and do nothing. So I'd be a greater fan of rounding up, rounding down to a nickel, if in fact a nickel is equal value.
Texas resident Christopher Thomas isn't ready to get rid of the penny just yet.
I think we need the penny, of course, but you know, it's a good idea and it's a bad idea. I mean, yeah, it costs 3 cents to make the penny, so why not cut it out? Probably in the long run it would cost us more because the impact of missing the penny would turn over into loss for companies.
And now, exclusive Storm Tracker Doppler weather with meteorologist Chase Ward.
Patchy showers become possible as we head into the afternoon as our system kind of moves just down to our south and temperatures rise to the lower 50s for our highs. Expect a lot of widespread rain into the evening hours, but once we get overnight, kind of close to midnight, we will expect the chance for some of this stuff to kind of transition to a freezing rain, potential wintry mix, mainly starting in Arkansas, and we could see some freezing rain move across southeast Arkansas and still kind of rule it out for some sections of northeast Louisiana. However, likely to stay mainly north the I-20 corridor. If we happen to get anything along I-20 from Monroe out to Ruston, it would be just kind of traceable. We're talking maybe 1, maybe 2 hundredths of an inch of ice, which is not usually that impactful. Just be kind of mindful when you're driving on bridges and overpasses. More impacts will be more likely across portions of Arkansas where we could get up to 1/10 of an inch, where we could see some minor impacts. And with winds getting between 15-20 miles per hour, if we might potentially see a few outages, it won't be nothing widespread, but something we'll have to be mindful of through tonight into tomorrow morning, especially if you have to be out on those roadways. So today, a high of 53 degrees with widespread rainfall. Tonight, it'll transition to that freezing rain is here in Monroe. We fall to the upper 20s, but South Arkansas, they'll be in the lower 20s. This continues into the morning hours of tomorrow as we only reach into the mid-30s. So we're going to remain kind of just below that freezing mark for a good chunk, even the rest of the week, as we'll see teens from Friday through Saturday.
All right, well, we had a great parade weekend, but y'all look out for that freezing rain. Stay safe and stay warm. That's it for your midday update. NBC News Daily continues. Have a great rest of your day.
When you see news happening, call the NBC 10 Fox 14 News Hotline, 812-1410, sponsored by RoofMax. Get a free estimate today.